is God. All there is. No more doubt or confusion. I release pain of illusion. Yes, there's only one solution. Yeah, yeah. What I found is oh so simple. Deeper love in a temple, and I found it in the stillness of my soul. 'Cause all there is God. Oh, yeah. All there is God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All there is God. Let me hear your voice. All there is God. Now I'm resting in the knowing that my good is overflowing, and my faith is ever growing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, take me back to the beginning. I feel the Spirit moving in me. Make me stronger, make me willing. Yeah. All there is God. Oh, yeah. All there is God. Oh, everywhere you turn. All there is God.
All there is love.
All there is love.
All there is peace.
All there is peace. Past all understanding.
All there is truth.
All there is truth.
All there is God.
All there is God.
All there is God.
All there
All there is God. God is all there is.
all there is. Now I'm resting in the knowing that my good is overflowing, and my faith is ever growing. Yeah, yeah. Take me back to the beginning. Feel my spirit moving in me. Make me stronger, make me willing. Yeah. All there is God. All there is God. Yeah. All there is God. Oh, God. Everywhere you turn. All there is Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the first time. 1,000 cups of tea, but not like this one. 1,000 breaths we breathe, but not like this one. 1,000 suns will rise, but not like this one. 1,000 lullabies, but not like this one. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the first time. 1,000 passing smiles, come on, sing it, but not like this one. 1,000 starlit skies, but not like this one. 1,000 words to choose, but not like this one. 1,000 I love yous, but not like this one. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the first time. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the first time. With a brand new pair of eyes, so that we may finally see. Yeah. 1,000 cups of tea, 1,000 gifts received, 1,000 fields of green, 1,000 farewells will grieve, and 1,000 lives conceived. Come on, sing it. But not like this one. 1,000 hands will hold, but not like this one. 1,000 stories told, but not like this one. 1,000 beauties to behold, but not like this one. And 1,000 hearts you'll know, but not like this one. And 1,000 hearts you'll know, but not like this one. Put your hand up on your heart with us right now. 1,000 hearts you'll know, but not like this one. So let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the first time.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fields? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we shed before? Did you ever stop to notice the crying earth, the weeping shore? What have we done to the earth? Look what we've done. What about all the peace that you pledged your holy son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice the crying earth, the weeping shore? I used to dream, I used to glance beyond the stars. Now I don't know where we are, but I know we've drifted far. Can we set him free?
I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community, and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. We have 10 different faith perspective speakers and 8 different musical acts. And at the beginning of each 10-week series, we give them a 1 or 2 word topic and ask the speakers to come back with a video on their week, and the musicians come back with a couple of videos. We send it to Philip. Philip puts it all together. Let's get that straight.
Yes, Philip does all that.
Philip and his team, and that is how you end up with what you're seeing now. We broadcast this on Facebook Live and also on our YouTube channel, People of Diversity YouTube channel. If you would like to join us in this endeavor, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org and push the donate button. We pay our speakers, we pay our musicians, and we pay our Philip and his team. And this week I also paid insurance, so just saying. So everything that gets donated is used for the betterment of the world. And the pot also tithes as well. So that's it.
Well, you know, huh?
That's all I know.
So last week we ended our last series on responsibility with our founding
Mom.
Yes, Mom. Reverend Sue Bailey, and our brother from the Great White North up in Canada, Victor Morgado, gave us a couple of songs. This week, we begin our brand new topic, worship. Will Davis will be our first speaker. He is our Native American representative. And Mr. Capel.
Capel.
You asked me 3 times if I was going to get it right. Daniel Capel will be our musician. Sorry, Daniel. One of these days, man, I swear to God, I'm going to get it right. Next week, we have our Baha'i representative, Dean Martineau, and Bob Simon and Shannon Plummer will give us a couple of songs. Past services are available on People of Diversity Facebook group, Facebook page, and the YouTube page. Now, the YouTube page is the logo with the hands. If you subscribe to that page, you can go to it live on Sunday mornings and join the chat. You can always find all of the videos there and search under 2 separate playlists, whether it be by faith or by topic. So that is available back 3 years. And in not as an organized fashion, all of those old videos are also available on the Facebook page and group under videos or live. Our second broadcast happens at 5:45 every Sunday. It's a rebroadcasting of the morning broadcast. Now, the only other thing that happens on Sunday is from 11:45 to 12:15 we do a deep dive. That's a Zoom event. The link and the password are in the post. Please join us there after the service, and we get to hang out and visit and see each other. And from time to time, the speaker visits with us at that place. I don't think Will normally does.
Yes, he does.
He does?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll hang out with Will
I don't know for sure he can this one, but yeah, he typically does join us.
That would be a very good morning to come and hang out. And I believe, if you want notifications on Sunday morning, simply to be able to just push the button and go straight to the service, join People of Diversity Facebook page or group, and you will get morning notifications, because Philip, in all his wonder, creates a premiere each time, and when something new hits the page, everyone gets notified. So, all you'll have to do is push a button from your notifications and you'll be sitting with us. It will be wonderful.
Each week we bless a country. So if you know anything about the country that we are blessing next week, send an email to me with the pictures, stories, thoughts, facts, whatever you have about the country, and we'll use them in our country blessing. And next week is Lebanon. This week is Latvia. Latvia is in northeastern Europe on the east coast of the Baltic Sea. It's slightly larger than West Virginia. It's not very large. And it has 1.8 million people. Their religious makeup is extremely interesting. You talk about a lot of variety. 38% are non-religious or atheist. 19% are Roman Catholic. 16% are Russian Orthodox. 14% are Lutheran. And 13% are other Orthodox. So, quite the diversity in their religious makeup. It is one of the world's greenest countries. Over half of the landscape is covered with forests, and 20% is legally protected land. Yeah, 20% of the land. They have 311 miles of white sandy beach, 12,000 rivers, and 2,000 lakes.
Wow, heavenly.
Yeah, no kidding. The capital of Latvia is Riga. It was founded in 1201, and it is a beautiful city, but has this one little weird thing about it. They have roosters on top of their churches and cathedrals instead of crosses, and nobody seems to know why. Some people thought it might have been a weather vane thing, but nobody knows for sure. So all across the land, or all across the skyline, you see roosters on top of their church buildings. The oldest decorated Christmas tree was in Riga in 1510. It was decorated with ribbon and straw ornaments, and after Christmas they burned it for good luck. And apparently there are some places where that's still a tradition to burn the Christmas tree after the Christmas is over. Latvian women are the tallest women in the world, averaging 5 feet 7 inches tall. It's pretty cool. The first pair of jeans was invented by Latvian Jacob Davis in 1872. And after he came up with the idea, he approached Levi Strauss to help with the funding and patenting the design. And the rest is history. Everybody's heard of Levi Strauss, and probably nobody much has heard of Jacob Davis, but there you go. I hope he got paid a bunch. The last fact is Latvia has the largest song and dance festival in the world, with 40,000 participants and 500,000 attendees. And this has been happening every 5 years since 1873.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, let's hold the people of Latvia in our hearts, knowing they want the same things in their lives that we want in ours. We wish them peace and abundance, serenity, all the good things in life, so they can keep dancing. And we say these words together. May peace prevail in Latvia. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you.
Daniel Capel.
There you go. Right here.
He will give us music, and he will bring his violin, maybe, or his new guitar. Will Davis, we got sneak peeks. We got to go and hang out with him and visit and be present while he gave the talk, so you're in for a treat.
Oh, yeah.
And without further ado, we'll just get right to it.
Good day, people of diversity. My name is Daniel Capel, the singing violinist. Don't have a violin with me right now. I am going to sing a song from my first album. It's called Lord Hear Me, and you can go find that album if you want to listen to it, and you'll actually hear some violin. This is a song that whenever I sing it, and normally it's just with the guitar, it gets me in the mood of worship. So I hope it does the same for you, and if you want to join in, feel free. Lord, hear me. Lord, hear me. Lord, hear me. set me free. Lord, oh, set me free. Lord, set me free. Lord, set me free. Lord, give me strength. Lord, oh, give me strength. Yes, Lord, give me strength, oh Lord. Lord, give me strength. Lord, please balance it with grace. With your grace now. Lord, please give me grace. Lord, give me grace. Lord, give me grace. And Lord, let me know my truth. Lord, please let me know my truth. Lord, let me know my truth, oh Lord. Lord, let me know my truth. Lord, breathe through me. Lord, breathe through me. Lord, breathe through me. Lord, breathe through me. Lord, hear me. Lord, hear me. Lord, hear me, oh Lord, hear me, Lord, hear me. Hello again, people of diversity. I'm Daniel Capel, the singing violinist. No violin again. Okay, it might become a theme. So I wanted to sing for you a song. It's called Rise Up, and many of you will know it already. It's by Cassandra Beatty and Jennifer DeSilvio. It's not an original, and so I wanted to just acknowledge those two writers. And Cassandra Beatty is also known as Andra Day, and was the person that made this song so famous. Under her own name. Here we go. You're broken down and tired, living life on a merry-go-round. You can't fight the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gotta walk it out. Mountains, we're gonna walk it out. Move mountains, we're gonna walk it out. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times. Yes, I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence is quiet, it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, we're gonna walk it out. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, oh, for you, oh, for you, oh, for you. All we need is hope. And for that we have each other. For that we have each other. And we will rise. Oh, we will rise. Oh, we will rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise up 1,000 times again. And we will rise up, high like the waves. We will rise up, in spite of the ache. We will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. We'll do it 1,000 times again. For you. We will rise, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Good morning, everybody. I've been asked today to talk about worship. And I haven't had a lot of time to give it a lot of thought, so we're going to wing this one for real. When I think about worship, I think about probably different than other people. I think about the idea of giving honor to something, someplace, or someone. And I don't really think about supplication too much, because I think when we look at the idea of a deity, I'm not sure that we have a real clear image in our mind about what that is. We talk about God or gods. We use pronouns such as he and she and they. For me personally, worship is giving acknowledgement to not only whatever is out there, but also what is within me. Because I think that if we try to separate ourselves from the idea of God or a creator being, that we're doing a disservice, not only to ourselves, but to them also, or he or she also. I think in order to be connected, we have to connect. And I know that sounds simplistic, but it really isn't. I mean, when you prepare yourself to pray or to do ceremony or whatever, are you really thinking about what you're actually doing? That you're trying to establish a connection between you and something that is really beyond you, way beyond you. And so I wonder sometimes if we really do consciously think about that. I know for me, it's kind of off and on, but as I've moved along in my life, I've been more focused on that, because for me, daily acknowledgement of that which is beyond me has become almost necessary. It's a matter of keeping myself focused and connected at the same time, which that also sounds simplistic. So, well, yeah, you have to be both. Well, no, you don't. I've met a lot of people who are not very focused, but they could certainly call on God if they needed to. And we have to think about that, maybe, that here's what I know I just stopped and now I'm going to go off in another direction. You'll get used to that. I think that we need to stop trying to form a picture of God. Okay. I mean, you can if you want to. You can see some old man with a long white beard pointing his finger at Adam, or you can say whatever. But instead of trying to form a mental image of what God looks like, let me suggest this, that you form an image, mental, emotional, who cares, of your relationship to that thing. See yourself embracing that nothingness that we kind of really do believe God is, okay? If we're really honest, we really don't know what God looks like, what he is. And I mean, he's not some amorphous blob floating around in space, but he's also not exactly like us. I mean, yeah, some religions believe that we were created in God's image, and I have no argument with that. At the same time, when you look at the diversity of humanity, how many phases does God have? Okay. I think if you need to picture something, and picture something that is absolutely and totally sublime. Now, I said this before, you think I'm getting off subject, but that does come back to worship. Worship to me, when I think of that word, I think of something that people do that's kind of mindless. You know, I mean, I'm not sure God wants us to fall on our knees and start begging for stuff. I really don't believe that that's how it is. I think, first of all, establish what your needs are, not necessarily what your wants are. Establish what your needs are, and then put that out there into the universe. Put it out there as a request, not a demand. You know, I know for me, when there's something I really need in my life, I do ceremony, okay? And you kind of have to think about it, that all life is a ceremony. Breathing is a ceremony. Talking is a ceremony. And so I may light some sage, or I may light some incense or some sweetgrass, and I cleanse me and the area where I am. Not because I think there's anything bad there, but it sets up a vibration, a vibratory rate that allows for that positivity to flow through there. It also allows an exit for all the negative stuff. And we all have that too. You know, sometimes I walk around and I feel like there's bugs buzzing around me with all the negativity. And people have actually said, is there a bug around you? I said, no, but there's a lot of negativity, so I'm brushing it away. But then I also believe that what I do not participate in, I do not receive consequences from. And so I try to withdraw my participation in the negative aspects of things. And I'm not always successful. None of us are always successful. I mean, I'm still a work in progress. Doesn't matter how long I've been on this earth, I'm still developing. We all are. So when I worship, I do that, and then I look up, and I don't know why I look up, I just do. for probably 10,000 years, we've been taught God's up there. So we look up. I look up. You know, the clouds are beautiful, the sky is beautiful. And I just state a simple statement. I just say, hey, Grandpa, I really need this, or this right now. And maybe you could help bring that about. And by the way, thank you so much, especially for today, because I woke up and maybe that's all I need to know today. And that's my form of worship. Now, there's something else that I do, and you've all seen me do it, and that is I greet people like this. And when they leave, I do the same thing. That's a form of worship. I'm acknowledging, not so much like the namaste, I'm not Hindu, but it does acknowledge your divinity. But it also acknowledges the relationship between you and I. That was proper English. I like that. It's acknowledging that we are both here in this moment. And that's why I do that. I think it's the most wonderful form of greeting, other than hugging. Now, I'll hug all day long. But if that's not available, this is the most wonderful form of greeting, because it really is a prayerful attitude. And when I meet you for maybe the first time or maybe the 1,000,000th time, I still have that same sense of joy of seeing you. And because one of the things about worship is that sometimes when I haven't seen somebody for a while, I start to miss them. And I would really want them here or me there. And I pray about that, you know, because I don't want anybody to be where they don't want to be. So I change that. I say, okay, Grandpa, right now I'm expressing a want, not so much a need. And I know that I'm capable of making that happen myself. But if you could just give a little impetus there, you know. I don't talk to God any different than I talk to you or anybody else. God is like the ultimate parent. And I remember as a kid, when I wanted something from my parents, I'd go up and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, can I get this? Can I have this? And over time, I learned to also hear the no. Oh, how horrible that was. No. But you have to think about this, that sometimes no is the most loving thing we can say to another person. It's like you say no to your kids sometimes because you love them. You don't want them to get in trouble. You don't want them to become greedy, whatever the reason. So when we incorporate all those things into our idea of worship, then we're acknowledging that connection. That when I pray about something, I'm prepared to hear the, well, maybe not right now, or no, that's not going to be good for you. I'm prepared to hear that. And I've learned over the years not to argue with God about that. I mean, we argue about a lot of things, but we don't argue about that so much anymore. When you develop that personal relationship with something that is beyond you, bigger than you, I know among Native people sometimes misunderstand our ceremonies. They misunderstand what we're doing. We don't pray to the sun. We know that the sun is not God. But what a wonderful symbol for God. We don't pray to the buffalo. We pray to the spirit of the buffalo. And we ask it to come, to feed the people, to clothe the people, to house the people. We never were mistaken about that buffalo has any divinity about it. It's a big cow out there on the plains, okay? But what it does for us became symbolic with being another symbol for the Creator. You know, we give honor to a lot of different aspects of nature, not because we're worshiping it, but because we acknowledge that without it, we wouldn't be here either. We need the rain, we need the water, we need the sun, we need the trees, we need the earth, we need that buffalo. Today, in today's times, I said this once and a whole bunch of people got angry with me. I said, but the dollar has become the new buffalo. It provides everything that we need: food, clothing, shelter, and that pickup truck. I think we've become a little bit spoiled and a little bit lazy with our worship. I mean, it's one thing to stop and go, oh God, not again. And rather than taking the time to make a little motion, sometimes I'll look up and I'll go, Grandpa, do you think I could not have to go through this again today? Do you think you could like put something different out here for me? And sometimes that happens. Anytime we worship, we pray, we engage in ceremony, there's the idea that I am going to hear no. And when I do hear no, being who I am, I always turn around and says, okay, well then what's the next best thing? Well, what can I have that will be good? Praying for health. When people ask me to pray for them, first of all, I don't pray for people. I pray about them, because you're perfectly capable of praying for yourself. What I do is I ask God, ask the Creator to add my energy to your prayer energy, to maybe give it some more impetus, some more steam. And that's how that works for me, And I get requests for that sometimes several times a day. And there's 2 times a day that I am attracted to, 9 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night. I don't know why that is, but that seems to work the best for me. And that's when I do ceremony. That's when I do worship. And I have several places I go. I have my shrine out here that's dedicated to the Buddha. I have a spot along the river where I go, or right here on this patio. Got a little bowl over there that I can burn some sage in and stuff like that. You create space. Doesn't matter where it is. You create space where you can feel comfortable reaching out and touching creation and the beginning of creation that we call God. When Becky and Scott come here to film me, one of these days they're not going to have to do that. I am going to learn how to use one of these things, but not today. But when they come here, my heart just feels happy. And I went to a gathering, I guess, not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, down in Vieira somewhere. And a whole bunch of people came for this like dinner type thing, and we all sat in a circle and talked about who we were a little bit. And I got to know some people better. And that was wonderful, because it was voluntary. There was no sense of I have to do this. There was no sense of urgency or exigency. There was just openness. And so I felt welcome there. I've gone into other gatherings and this, that, and the other, and I wasn't quite sure where I fit in, because I was always this odd person out here, Oh, he's the Indian, or he's the Buddhist. So one of the things I'm real grateful for is that Dave is there, who is another Buddhist. I felt like, okay, we have something in common. Let me just deviate 1 degree here. I think it's important that you feel included, that you don't feel like you're over here somewhere. And a lot of times that's strictly from you. It's not other people doing that to you. It's your own sense of discomfort. Examine that and find out, why am I feeling uncomfortable here? How am I any different than anybody else here? And I ask myself that question. So every time I'm going to make one of these videos, or I have to speak in front of a group of people, one of the things I ask myself is, calm down, breathe, get the dryness out of your mouth so your tongue's not sticking to the roof of your mouth. and realize that you're the same as them. They are the same as you. Maybe you're older, maybe you're younger, maybe you're taller, maybe you're shorter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're human beings. And so in worshiping or in going into worship, be willing to acknowledge that. Be willing to acknowledge that you're inclusive. When I light my sage or my incense, or I'm out at the shrine, I include all of humanity. I use that Lakota phrase, Mitakio Api, or Mitakio Asin, all my relatives, which includes you and the birds and the animals and the plants and the trees. All of those things are my relatives because we need each other. There is that familial relationship between you and that oak tree out there, simply because of our respiratory exchanges. I need it, it needs me. We have this almost symbiotic relationship. And in worship, I think it might help or behoove us to form a bit of symbiosis between you and what you see as the creator of all things. Or if you have no belief at all, you know, if there's kind of an atheistic aspect there, then form a symbiosis between you and the entire universe. Okay, well, however you perceive that. Even as an atheist, you can still pray. You just don't have to pray to a deity. You can just put that energy out there into the universe to be used by who or whatever needs it the most. And I've done that a few times. In my travels, I've seen a lot of different ways that people have of worshiping, from the Aboriginal people of Australia to the people of India to the indigenous of Japan to the indigenous in South America and North America. And what I've found is that there's this thread of commonality that runs through all of those different traditions. And that thread of commonality is that connection with your environment, the totality of your environment. That I'm not separate from the rest of creation. I'm just merely a part of it. In the great circle of life, you am just a cog on that great circle. However, doesn't matter how small or insignificant it may seem, your presence on that circle is absolutely necessary for the proper functioning of that circle. The great medicine circle. It can't function if even one little tiny part is missing. That's your importance. That's our importance to the function of everything else. So when I worship, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge my place on the great circle of life, on the medicine circle. People ask me, how come you don't say medicine wheel, Will? I'm going, because back in our day, we didn't have a concept of the wheel. It was a circle, and we had a word for that. Yeah, there's spokes. You see those medicine circles out there in like Montana, Wyoming, there's spokes, but those have a reason, almost like the Buddhist wheel of life. Each of those spokes represent an aspect. And when I was out there, I was allowed to go inside that circle and pray. Because I'm native. And what an experience that was. And I know that Becky and Scott just came back from Mexico visiting Chichen Itza. And I've been there a couple of times, and there's such an energy about that place that, see, worshiping, to my mind, is also, I feel worshipful from time to time. When I've been in those places that are focal points, I feel worshipful. You know, it's like not just Chichen Itza, but also Uxmal, where the jaguar court is. I actually sat on the jaguar throne and I got in trouble, but I still got a picture of it. So, you know, but I left little gifts up in the temple. I became worshipful because I understand or I hope I understand, how the Maya people were and how they approached their idea of deity, or the Aztec people, the Inca people, the Aboriginal people, the people from India. That was one of the threads of commonality, is how they approached the idea of worship. You know, there was a moment of contemplation, a moment of introspection that preceded that, so that I know that my mind is where it needs to be. Because I'm one of those people, I'm easily distracted. If a butterfly flies by, I'm over there with it. Okay, it's hard for me to stay right here in the moment. And people get good laughs about that. I get good laughs about that. At the same time, when I prepare myself to meet with the Creator, I become very focused, hyper-focused, because I need to be able to be that conduit. And part of worship is becoming that conduit between me and the rest of creation. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you that the next time you get prepared to worship, whether you go to a church or whether you go to your back porch, wherever it is, think about creating that space. Get yourself prepared, inside and out. I don't think God requires a lot of trappings. He doesn't need gold and glitter and all this other stuff. He invented it, okay? It's the purity of how you're coming there that I think is important. Get yourself to that point. You know, I said that once, as I said, well, how can we get to a point of purity? None of us are pure. And I said, every one of you are. See, every one of you is perfect in your form and function. Even if that means I'm perfectly imperfect in my flaws and my humanness. I said, never doubt your worthiness. You are worthy. You are worthy. And that's maybe the most important thing when we worship, is that we are also acknowledging our worthiness to be there and to receive whatever it is we're there for. That sometimes you'll see people stand with their arms like this open. I do sometimes. I cup my hands, I hold my arms out because I want to receive those blessings. It's just a little symbolic gesture that I'm receiving those blessings. Or when somebody gifts me something, I immediately put it to my heart and thank them for that, but also acknowledging that. That's being worshipful. Just right now, I'm hearing this bird behind me singing. And I'm thinking, you know, thank you for that beautiful song this morning. I wish I could sing that well. There's a lot of aspects around us that I think we miss because we get busy. Take just 30 seconds, breathe in, breathe out, and listen. Hear them? Yeah. Just listen. If you listen enough, I suspect you'll start understanding their language and you can communicate with them. I go out here all the time and say, hey, birds. I have a couple of hawks that live here that come around every single day. They can be pretty raucous, but at the same time, I'm thinking, how beautiful you are. You know, I'm getting to see this beauty this morning. I'm getting to hear this beauty this morning. That's a form of worship. You're worshiping the ideology that all of this can exist and that I'm here to be a part of it. How great is that? So in closing here, let me just say this. Don't be afraid to worship. I know people who are, or they feel uncomfortable. Don't. God's not judging you. You are. Stop that. It's not good. It's not healthy. If someone asks you to pray with them, jump in there. It doesn't matter how you pray or even what language you use. What matters is the energy you're willing to put out for that. That's what I would like to see everybody do. Sometimes in my community, I'm seen as an elder. I'm not exactly sure what that means just yet, but they sure do ask me a lot of questions and they expect an answer when they ask the questions. And it has to be the right answer. So it's like, sometimes people say, I have a question. I said, I have an answer, even if I have to make it up. So again, I'm going to strongly suggest that you approach life with a little more humor. Life is serious enough, okay? Put a little humor in there, salt and pepper it, flavor it up a little bit with a little bit of humor. And I pretty much can bet you that you'll feel better about that. So thank you for listening to me this morning. Thank you for being there. Thank you.
So before we close, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you consider dancing like you did this weekend a form of worship?
Absolutely. I just posted something about that. That when I dance, it's a prayer. I dance my prayers. When I dance, I feel connected to the drums, to the songs, and to the spirits that come with those songs. I don't care what other people do. I'm not there to win anything. I'm not there to impress anybody. I'm there to connect with something that's so ancient, that you can't even imagine. And if you go in there with the right mind, those spirits are going to come. I promise you, they will come, and they will dance with you. I've had people actually come up and ask me, after I've come out of the arena, are you high or something? And I went, yeah, I am. I just don't use drugs. Okay, there's this energy in here. And when you have 200 or 300 other people in there with that same thought, I know this song, I know this drum, I know this way. It just all comes together and you benefit from that. So yes, dancing is a form of worship for me. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you, Grandfather.
Thank you, Daniel. You're just awesome as always, and we really enjoy what you send and are so glad to have you as part of the family. I always am grateful that Bob and Shannon introduced us to you.
Amen. Yeah.
First time we saw him was at Bob and Shannon's wedding, and that's going on 5 years now, 4.5 years. So thank you, Daniel. Will, just love you. I know it's always such a pleasure. You keep saying you're going to learn how to record your own videos.
I hope not.
I hope not. Exactly. Because I just love going over and spending that time with you, and your talks are always amazing. And just right off the top of your head, too, it's just amazing to me. So, Philip and team, and I'm just going to say it, Diego, hey. We certainly appreciate all of you and all that you do for us. And if you are out there in the world and you have need of such things as this, either virtual or in person, contact Philip and he will be able to fix you up. So, following the morning service from 11:45 to 12:15, we do our live Zoom deep dive, and it's a lot of fun. We had a really good one last week with Reverend Sue, and it's always cool to hear other people's perspectives and questions on the things during the talk, and just to catch up. So that's the link for that is on the screen below. Tonight at 5:45 Sunday night, we will rebroadcast the Facebook Live service, and you can get on there and we can chat in the chat window and shoot hearts and that sort of thing. And then next week will be our Baha'i representative, Dean Martineau, and with Bob and Shannon, Bob Sima and Shannon Plummer, and our topic is worship. So.
All right, www.peopleofdiversity.org. That's where you can meet us and join us in this commitment to multi-faith, to getting a deeper understanding of all of the different perspectives and view of spirit through our brothers and sisters of different faith. Please join us. Hit the donate button in the middle and act as you're moved. Let's say thank you for those moments right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, plant your feet on the ground. Spirit, thank you for all that you bring to the pod, all that you release from the pod. Thank you for blessing us and all who view it, and especially the speakers and the musicians and all the folks who are behind the scenes who just make the engine run. And we say together, Amen. Now, don't click off, because the most important part of the service is now. Please bring to your mind's eye anyone in your world that might need help, support, healing, or just some guidance and love. Put them in the center of a huge circle and see us all wrapping them up with love and kindness, and let's put some energy while we listen to this last song out into the circle. Please remember to open up and receive as well, and we'll see you next week.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love.